Okay. We were here where we looked at the insertion in the heap, where we said that if we have to insert an element, just move it at the end of this array, array representing the heap. That is going to be the last leaf in that level, or it might be the first leaf if it's starting a new level, and then percolate it upwards because it currently satisfies only the structural property. For example, after inserting 40 as the leaf, it satisfies the structural property, but it dissatisfies the heap order property. So to satisfy that, we moved it up until it reaches its place, right? And that satisfies our heap order property also. So in turn, it turns out to be a heap, in this case, in particular, max heap. So let's look at what happens when we are trying to delete an element. So deletions are typically opposite of insertions, and therefore a strategy which is opposite to insertion might be a natural strategy to check for deletion. So since this is not an arbitrary delete, we are not removing a particular element. We are actually removing only the highest priority element, and that is essentially the root. So we are interested in removing the root and percolating the hole down. Right? So when we remove the root, it becomes a hole. That hole we can move down, because then out of the two children, I can choose the larger one, which is having higher priority, and make it the root. And then I go on doing that. In that process, the hole keeps moving down. Right? So that is one natural strategy which can help us. So let's see. So for example, if I have 52 as the highest priority element, I can convert it into a hole, removing it, and then out of the two children, the larger of the two should move up. Right? So that satisfies the max heap property. As soon as you move that, essentially this becomes a hole, and then we continue doing that so that this comes here, and then this comes here. Right? So if you look at it pictorially, essentially that is what is going to happen, and we get this particular tree. So which also turns out to be a max heap. Right? Any questions on this one? Okay. So if there are no questions, then we'll do it on another example. Let's do this classwork. So we have this tree, which is essentially the next one that we want to do. Please do delete max on it and show me the level order traversal. And in the process, if there are any difficulties, please discuss. Okay, Murari says 30, which is the root, then 29, 12, and then 6, 5, 11, and then 3, 1. Okay, Sai Charan says 30, 29, 12, then 6, 5, 11, 3, 1. Same. And Abhishek also says the same. Okay. Rishabh is giving an indication that yes, this answer comes in, but the structural property is getting violated. Do others agree with that? Is there a structural property violation? Okay, Shania says yes, Mrityunjay says yes, okay, Basu says yes, Sai Charan says yes, Suryanarayan, Murari, okay, good. So there is a structural property violation, right? So when we move this hole down, after removing 39, well, 30 and 29 moves up. That is what is the level order traversal that we have obtained. It satisfies the heap property, but it does not satisfy the structural property. Correct? So we have to fix that. So whatever I said on the previous slide, that remove the element and percolate the whole down, that is not going to work. This is not the correct algorithm for delete max. Okay. So why this is happening is because we are removing, we are going to an arbitrary element in this tree, right? So when I try to remove 39, I am reaching 29. In the previous case, I'll just show you back, which was carefully designed, that when I removed 52, we reached 29. And removal of that did not change the structural property. And therefore, that was okay for that particular instance. But when we try to do it for arbitrary elements, then the structural property is getting violated. So what element should 39 reach to such that the structural property is not violated? I mean, that hole should reach that particular element such that the structural property is not violated. Not 3 or 1. It has to be exactly 1. Right? So if I remove 3, then still the structural property is violated. But if I remove 1, then the structural property is not violated. So what I could do is that I can find out from 39, and then there is this 1, and there is this nice path. If I can percolate the hole down to that 1, then there is a possibility that I will not dissatisfy the structural property, and that is precisely what happened in the previous example. Right? So let's try that. Right? So what we will do is that we are going to take this up 1 and percolate that hole down there. Right? And we get essentially 30 moves up, then 6 moves up, and then 1 moves up and then gets removed. Right? Do we satisfy the structural property? Yes, we do satisfy. This is a complete binary tree. Does that serve our purpose? Anybody has any questions on this one? Okay. Right. So as some of you have already observed, this is not again the correct way. We are satisfying the structural property now, but we are missing out on the heap order property. Right. So 6 and 12 are smaller than 30. So that part is okay. But then now 29 is larger than 6. This is not what we wanted max heap to be. Right. This 1 is smaller than 6, but as far as 3 is concerned, that is larger than 1. This is also dissatisfying the heap order property. So again, this is not a heap. So let's understand what we did. We said that we are going to do something opposite to the insertion, and therefore we said we just remove that element and percolate the hole down. We just maintain the that still maintains the heap order property, but it ends up dissatisfying the structural property, which was this case 1. And then in fixing that, we said that okay, let's choose the last leaf and choose the path, and if I percolate the hole according to that path, then I maintain the structural property, which is correct. You are maintaining the structural property, but then we are ending up dissatisfying the heap order property, and that is what we would like to fix. But these ideas are important, right? So therefore we would like to probably take help from these ideas, right? So any suggestions on what can be done to fix this? Okay, addition of a hole at the bottom. Okay, so how will that solve the problem, Basu? And then percolate it up. Okay, so in this example, where should I create that hole? At 29, I see. But if I create a hole there and percolate it up, that is probably going to cause structural violation, because 29 will move up and then we will have that hole created there. Murari says before going above, exchange 3 and 1 if 3 is greater than 1. Okay. Okay, while we wait for the second step from Murari's algorithm, Aniruddha says send 1 in place of 39, swap 1 with the max child repeated. Okay, that seems to be one algorithm, Aniruddha's algorithm. Chotu Kumar says replace root with 1 and check at each root and exchange with greater of left or right and do the same. Yeah, Chotu Kumar also agrees with Aniruddha's algorithm. Murari says we do that every percolating with its sibling. See, exchanging the elements at the sibling level will, okay, let's check. So 3 and 1, so let's say we don't exchange here. 6 and 29, we can exchange in this case, it turns out, but not always this will be possible. For example, if you look at 30 and 12, right, these two siblings, you cannot reorder them because 12 is going to be smaller than 29, right? But maybe you are saying that the left hand side should be the larger one.
So the direction of percolation, if you are moving above, if one is moving above, then one has to be greater than 3. Otherwise, yeah.
I see. So you start from 1, but while moving it up, you check that it should be maintaining the heap property at that subtree.
Yes, sir.
I see. Well, it might, okay, we'll have to check if that works, because in this case, for example, 1, if we take this 1 and we cannot move it up because it is not larger than 3, then we are still stuck with the same problem that what should replace 39, isn't it? Or you want that to be now 6 or something.
Sir, like you will remove 39, replace 1 by 3, move above, so it will become 6 below.
Replace 1 by 3. So the whole has come here, is it?
Okay, I think I got confused.
Okay, sure, no problem. That's okay. So let's look at what Aniruddha and Chotu Kumar are suggesting. What they are saying is that choose the last element, last leaf in this heap, and move it to the root. So this becomes 1. Now, since you are talking about the last leaf, even if you remove it, it's not going to cause any structural violation. But now we have dissatisfied the heap order property. Now fix it. How fix it? By moving that, percolating that downwards. So out of these 30 and 12, 30 should move up. So 1 comes here. Out of 6 and 29, 29 should come up. So 1 comes here. So essentially this 1 has moved from here to here after removal of 30. Right, so that is what we'll try, and it seems to fix the heap order property also. Let's check. Right. So 39, we choose the last element. So we have removed that 39. We choose the last element, and that last, sorry, I think there is another wrong way in which it can be done, but not wrong way, sorry. Yeah, so that whole can be I mean, you can view it as the whole is moving down, but essentially that one element is moving down. Right? So this 1 is here, then 30 moves up. So 1 has to be compared with 29, and that 29 comes up, and then 1 comes here, and that becomes the final heap. And as you can see, that the structural property is satisfied, that is clear because we are removing the last leaf. But why does the heap order property get satisfied? The reason being that you are actually percolating, you have the value here, and therefore moving it down is not going to dissatisfy the way it happened during the insert. So therefore we are guaranteed to get the heap order back. Does that create any other issues? Anybody sees any issues with this approach? Okay, so if not, then we'll try it out on some more times, right? So we have gotten this tree with 30 as the root. Let's do delete max on that. Right, so please try this out and write the level order traversal of that tree. And in the process, if there are any challenges, feel free to ask. Good, that's a correct observation that 7 can come below 6, so it might violate the heap order property. This example is very carefully designed. You will face this problem. Okay, but Varat Sunil says that you can actually move 7 in place of 31, right? And therefore it will become more like 31 followed by 30 and 7. Right? The rest of the elements remain the same. Sai Charan is asking 7 will go to the left or right. So, okay, so I'm glad that you guys are getting into these questions, and I hope everybody does. So let's understand where the problem is. So we said that, okay, 39 we can remove, that's okay. That whole we can move down. Out of these two children, 31 is larger, so let me move the whole here, and then 31 becomes the root. Out of the children of 31, now 6 and 3 are the children, and therefore 6 moves up, and then 6 I can replace with 7. Right? As soon as you do that, your structural property is satisfied, the heap order property is dissatisfied. So we did something wrong, right? The wrong thing was, we should not just percolate the whole down, we should replace this element 39 with 7 and move that element down, not the whole. And therefore when 7 is compared with 31, 7 comes down, so that is okay here. But after that, 7 needs to be compared with 6 and 3 before you choose the maximum of the two. But 7 is already larger than either 6, both 6 and 3, and therefore we should not make any further percolations. And therefore you will get the tree something like this as Varad was pointing out. Does this seem reasonable? Any questions on why we got 7 there? Okay, great. I hope you are finding this interesting. This is a different way of looking at it. VSTs, we had this structural, BST property of left and right, and searching was one of our main criteria. Here, searching is not going to work out. In fact, this data structure is not for searching for an element. This data structure is you are interested in the highest priority element. Okay, Murari says 30, 29, 31, 15, 7, 6, 3, 4. Will this also satisfy? Are there multiple percolations? No. In this case, there is only one percolation. The reason being that you don't want to violate the max heap property. If 30 becomes the root, then 31 will be its child, and that will dissatisfy the property. right? So since this is max heap, we have to always move the larger of the two. So in this case, between 30 and 31, 31 has to move. And opposite in case of mean heap. Okay. So if you are able to understand this, then I'll ask you to do some more delete max, right? So please do maybe 2 or 3 further delete maxes. Let's remove 31 now. So as you can see, as you keep removing the elements using delete max, you are going to get elements in sorted order, right? And that can give you a sorting algorithm, right? So that essentially is called as a heap sort. Okay, so what is the level order traversal after removing 31? Okay, 30 and then 29 7 and then 15 460. Correct. Correct. So all of you are on the same page now. So Mrityunjay, Rishabh, Abhishek, Murari, Chotu, all of you have given exactly the same answer, and that means that you guys are able to understand what's happening. I'm sure others also got similar answer. If you have gotten a different answer, please feel free to discuss. Right? So I also have the same answer. This is a not only a complete binary tree but also a full binary tree, which has exactly 7 elements. And as you can see, the heap is always height balanced. Right? As far as structure is concerned, it's always height balanced, but the ordering amongst elements is very different. Right. So let's do a couple of delete maxes. So let's remove 30. Okay, Murari has given the first reaction 29 and then 15 7 and then 3 4 6. Okay, good. So Murari, Abhishek and Mrityunjay are on the same page. I'll wait for a couple of more responses. Sai Charan also says the same. Right, so this is again where some small issue comes up, right? So you move 39 up, so that is okay. Remember that you have to first worry about this last element, right? So that last element is going to be moved up. So you move 29. Okay, I think there won't be any issue as such. I think this will work like normal. So 30 you remove, so that 3 comes down, 29 goes up. So that 3 again is compared with 15 and 4, and 15 moves up and 3 comes down. I think this is okay. Here you should see some small issue, I suppose. Right. Okay. So as Mrityunjay, Sai Charan are suggesting, Rishabh, yeah, all of you are giving exactly the same answer, and this is where another issue comes up, like we had in the context of removal of 39, right? So that's what happens, that you should, the last element is essentially 6, that is going to get removed from here, but you should not move it all the way to the leaf, because 3 and 4 both are smaller than 6. So when 15 moves up, essentially 6 is going to come here and stay there, right? Okay, so that's fine. So once you remove further, you're going to get this tree and so on. So you can work it out on different examples, and hopefully you'll get the same answer. Yeah, so there aren't multiple answers in case of heaps. You will get exactly the same answer after delete max. Okay, there are other operations which we have looked at, for example, increasing the key, decreasing the key of a particular element, etc. And then removal of an element, and then there is a building also, building of the heap. So let's look at least a couple of these before we move further. Let me unshare the screen. And share. Okay. Maybe I'll first show you the heap.h file that is going to contain the class heap. I'm going to define the element type, that is the key, to be of type integer. It has certain constructor which defines the maximum value of the array, maximum size of the array, which in this case is just 20, because I'm debugging, but you can set it to 20,000, doesn't matter. Then there is insertion, delete max, and printing and the size are other functions. Apart from that, there is this increase key function, right? So increase key of a particular index, right, by certain delta. So that value becomes array of II plus equal to delta is what is the operation that we want to perform. Similarly, there is decrease key, and then there is removal of a particular indexed value. And then there is a build heap where I'm giving a set of elements, the size of the element, and yeah, so there is some flag required for the implementation. We'll come back to this if we discuss build in detail. But yeah, and then there are auxiliary functions which check if it is a heap or not. And why two functions? This is at the root, and this is the internal function which is going to check it at a particular index in a subtree. So instead of all the pointer to node, we are using indices here because we are talking about an array-based implementation. Okay. So printing of the array is okay. Hide back is another function which we will require. As we come to heap sort, I think this will become clear. There are some private variables and functions. The number of elements in the array, the number of elements is the size of the array. Max n is the maximum size of the capacity of the array, right? So, and then the number of elements, the elements themselves are stored in an array. Percolate up, down are auxiliary functions. Then getting the parent and getting the left and right children are other auxiliary functions. And then there are some sentinel values which I'm using here, that no element exists or the element is at infinity. Note that these are not node values, these are array values, and therefore we might require this sentinel at some places, especially during percolate up down or while doing a heap sort. So let's see. So having looked at heap.h, let's look at heap.cpp. So this was our constructor, which is okay. Let's first look at main and then we'll come back to this. the main may not be here, is it? Yeah, main is not here. Okay. All right. So we have main, which is going to include heap.h, so that I can create a variable of type heap. And then there are elements which I'm going to pass as parameters so that I can build a heap. We have not discussed build heap, but I'll explain to you that. Essentially, it is going to copy the elements there. And that, I mean, the elements, the way I'm inserting are in the appropriate heap order fashion. And therefore, I would like that to be inserted directly. So that is essentially a copying, but in general, build heap might require you to perform some processing. For example, if the elements are in increasing order, then, I mean, that could be the case that the insertion might be in a particular order. Still, the heap should satisfy the heap order property while insertion. So that we'll see when we come to that function. After building the heap, I'm printing it. Now, this printing could be in level order fashion, or you can have a GraphViz format to visualize it and so on. And then there is this auxiliary function isHeap, which is going to check this property satisfied, heap order property is satisfied or not at every element, and that will help us figure out if there is if I'm doing operations correctly or not. So this isHeap function, we should keep checking after every, let's say, percolate up, down, I mean, insertion, removal, etc. All of these should satisfy this property. There is some randomization which I am doing. Why? Because I want to insert random set of elements. So there are different operations which I am doing onto this based on different values of this delta and index, right? So delta is when I'm increasing the key, by how much it should increase. So I'm choosing a value between 0 and 19. As far as index is concerned, I'm choosing the random index, and that divided by the, I mean, mod by the number of elements. Right? So you get 0 to number of elements minus 1, but since our heap is 1 indexed, I need to add 1 there. Right? And then there are different operations which I'm doing. Just, I mean, ignore that delta mod 5 equals 0, 1, 2, 3. These are just some random values. So I want to essentially call different functions. So I want to arbitrarily call increase key with some value, decrease key with some value, delete max with some value, and so on. So that is what some randomization I'm doing there. And there is also insertion happening at some place. And after doing each of these operations, I'm printing it and checking it if it's a heap or not. So let's see if we can compile this. So this should not compile because I'm including only heap.h. Heap.cpp is required. So all these functions which are there in the heap.cpp are going to be required to be linked. So I need both these files. And then when I try to run it, it's going to give me some output based on the random set of elements that get inserted. Sorry, initially there are exactly the elements that we have on our example slide. And if I increase, let's say, 39 to 54, how does the heap look like? In this case, the heap looks like exactly the same before because 39 was the root. But let's say that I insert 9 here. So where will 9 get inserted? Well, you can insert it as the last element here, right? And then percolate it up. So that percolation, that 9, so this 30 has children 6 and 29, and 12 has children 5 and 11. Right? And so it's not properly formatted, it's just using tabs. But you can imagine that things are always pushed to the left. So 3, 1 are going to be children of 6, and 9 is going to be the child of 29. And if that is the case, it need not move up because it is a max heap. So as soon as you insert 9, that actually turns out to be its final position. When I try to increase the key, again, the root gets chosen, so nothing much to be done. Now I try to remove 12. Right? 12 is the right child of the root. And as you remove, a hole gets created there. And that hole needs to be filled in. Now, what should it be filled with, right? So similar to delete max, you can actually move this. So this remove we didn't really discuss on the slide, but I'll explain that to you. The last element can come here, that is 9. And then that 9 can move down. Right? Since this is a, is this correct? No, sorry, not like that. Yeah, that won't work out because these two elements could be, there may not be any path between 12 and 9, and therefore you cannot say anything about the ordering between the two. So the way it needs to be done is that we are increasing the key to some large value, right? So because this max heap, we are increasing the key to a large value, and I think that is this. When you move it to a large value, yeah, so I think what we are doing here is that we are percolating that value down. So you come all the way to 11. So from 12, we have come to 11. And then we are replacing this last value with 11. But is that going to satisfy the heap? Okay, I think this remove, I think I'll have to check. When we come to this function, we'll look at this removal. I think there is something more interesting than what is my guess. But yeah, after that we check if it's satisfying the tree product. This is just for debugging purposes. Yeah, then we increase the key from, okay, so because of randomization, the increase and delta is probably turning out to be 0. So it's increasing the key from 6 to 6. That is not going to help anything. Yeah, then we decrease the value from 5 to 4, and that also does not violate anything. So that is okay. Then the decreasing the key from 3 to -3. Okay, this I didn't understand, but I think we'll have to check the decrease key here. Finally, yeah, so those operations I think we'll have to look at, but at least as far as insert and remove is concerned, that is exactly happening the way we have studied on the slide. So let's look at the functions now. So this was heap main. Let's come to heap.cpp. All right. So the constructor was essentially initializing the array size. I mean the maximum capacity of the array, and the size of the array is marked as 0. As we insert the elements, this n elements will change. Let's come to insert. The insertion is of a particular element is that you are going to check for overflow because of the array this thing. Otherwise, you insert the element at the end, right? So you have n elements, which is the size of the array. So you insert the element at the end. Note that this is one based index, and therefore we are doing plus plus n elements rather than n elements plus plus. And then we percolate that element up, right? And that percolate up, similar to what we had in the rotations case, those are like primitives which we can use in multiple operations. And that percolate up is going to tell you where all that element is getting moved up, because that element might be dissatisfying the heap order property. By inserting it at the end, we are satisfying the structural property. So that percolate up is going to return the index at which that element should actually be present. And that is something which we do as the next step, and return that index, which is going to tell us where that element actually got inserted in this array, which might be useful for some callers, but not very useful in our case. Let's look at percolate up. Percolate up is from a particular index, right? So from here we find out its parent. Again, get parent can be written directly as ii by 2, but by pushing this or hiding this inside a function call or a macro like pre-processing directive, it is going to improve the readability of the code. If I say ii ancestor equal to ii by 2, it's not clear what you are doing. So by giving a proper name, it is going to be helpful for you to understand also. We look at the element at I, and then we also look at the element. Where is that II ancestors element? Yeah, elements of II ancestor is okay. So we are anyway percolating it up. So we just check if that E is greater than the elements of the II ancestor. Right? So if that is the case, that is the ancestor is smaller than the element, then we have to replace it. Otherwise, if you have found out that the II ancestor, that is the parent, is larger than the current element, then that is satisfying the maxi property and you can come out of this loop. But there is one small case where II ancestor might turn out to be 0, right? So you might go to the ancestor of root, and the ancestor of root might be set to 0. And at that place, you might want to come out of this loop because the element that you have inserted is actually the largest element, and therefore it has moved all the way to the root. So that takes care of that condition. So we go on swapping the elements. So in some sense, the parent element is now getting, the parent element moves down, right? The element that you have inserted needs to percolate up. So the parent element comes down. So that is what elements of I equal to elements of I ancestor here. And elements of I was this element E, which we have already stored. So that we have available with us for comparison purpose. We change II to II ancestor, which essentially is II by 2. And then we need to take, like we had previous and next in case of linked list traversal. Similarly, we have this II ancestor, which is II's ancestor, right? So whatever we did here on line 16 and 17, the same thing we have to do when we change II, right? So that is what we are doing here. And this way the element, actually the element doesn't really move up, but the parent keeps moving down, right? Until you reach a stage where that element should be inserted. And that index we are going to return. And that insertion at that index was happening directly inside insert. So that takes care of the insertion part. Any questions on the insert part or whatever we have functions we have seen so far? Okay. So so that was heap, percolate up, insert we have done. We'll come to percolate down. Yeah, let's look at delete max because that was the one that we were looking at on the slide. So if there are no elements, then it is underflow, so we don't have to worry about deletion. Otherwise, the maximum element is at the root, and the last element is elements of the size of that elements array, right? So we know these two. And we are going to do a percolate down from the root. So this is where we were thinking about that maybe we can move down the elements. And then the last element is going to replace the final place where, which is empty, right? So, so the elements of I parent, which is going to be returned by the percolation of percolate down of the root element, that position finally is going to be replaced by the last element. The last element is now duplicated in the array, but since it's the last element, I can just move the size of the array, reduce the size of the array by 1 to kind of discard that last element. So this is what is happening in case of this particular function. Let's spend time on percolate down. It's a little complicated function, but hopefully it will become clearer soon. Right? So let's look at that. It doesn't fit into the screen. So we start from the parent of the element which, so in this case we are calling it with root as the element which needs to be percolated down, right? So remember that percolate down we are using in case of delete max. So we have removed that element, and that index we would like to move down. So that last element which we had stored here actually is going to be useful in percolate down, but because we have to compare against that. So I should have possibly passed that elast as a parameter to percolate down, but I think I'll recompute that here in the percolate down function itself. So that is what is happening. So yeah, so I get the element at the root, and I also get the last element, and that is going to give me the highest priority element as well as the last element, right? So that we have to do. And then percolate down is going to look at two consecutive elements in the parent-child relationship. But we have to be careful about not going too much further down, because that needs to be guarded by this elast. Right? You don't want to go beyond elast, right? So that check is going to happen somewhere here about the elast. Okay. So these are all. So while iParent is less than the number of elements, so you might have to go all the way for all the elements, because you might want to go further down, but you might be able to make an early exit, which is going to happen here, right? So that Emax is greater than E right child, and there is another. Yeah, we'll look at this condition, but this is where the early exit is going to happen. Okay, so we look at the left left child of the current parent, which we started with root, and the right child. There is some initialization with respect to the left child and right child, so that is okay. E left child becomes elements of I left, right? So I left was only the index. Now the element that I have is stored in E left child. So I have the root to start with, its left child, its right child, as well as the last element. Yeah, so there is this flag which I'll have to use. We'll come back to that. If the maximum element, that is the element at the root, is greater than the left child, right, which is going to be the case to start with, but it might not get satisfied as we percolate elements down, right? So therefore this condition is required, and it is also greater than the right child, then that is going to give us the end condition, right? So Emax we have, I thought, yeah, so this check last condition is initially going to be false. Let me just call percolate down is called with 1, and the second parameter is actually default is true. Oh, so then, oh, I see. So not of check last is this is not check last, this is not of check last, right? So I should be checking this condition only. I should not be checking this condition at the first go, right? So because the root is anyway going to be the topmost element, but whenever I reach this condition that the current subtree root is larger than both of its elements, then I should stop. And therefore this condition needs to be checked in every iteration except the first one. That first one needs to be guarded in some way. So that is what is happening with this check last. This is called as a default parameter. I mean, this is a comment, but if you look at heap.h, you will see that there is a default parameter to where is that? Percolate down. So bool check last equal to true. In C++, you can have these default parameters, and then you can just pass the first parameter. You need not pass the second parameter, and that will give you whatever is the default value. Otherwise, you can as well pass both the parameters, ii followed by true or ii followed by false, and that check last will take its value. Okay, that's an aside, but yeah, so that condition, when it gets satisfied, that means that I'm satisfying the heap order property, and I can come out of this loop and return the current value of that particular subtree root, right? That is iParent. Otherwise, if it is not, if I'm not breaking it out, then I check which is the larger of the two, right? So E left child is greater than E right child, right? Otherwise, well, I'm using less than equal to, but it should be less than if I'm talking about unique values. So E left child is larger, so E left child should become the root, right? So that is, or it should move up. That is what is happening with respect to this, and the I parent takes the index of the left parent, the left child. Otherwise, if it's the right child which is larger, then it is going to be the right child is going to move up, and its index is going to be used for the further next iteration. What is the second condition? Well, the second condition is essentially going to guard against that last element, because we want that last element to get inserted there, right? So that is what we saw in a couple of the examples. So if E left child, if the element which is on the left is greater than E last, so the element at the left child should move to the upper part, but it should move only if it is greater than E last also. Similarly, the right child should move up only if it is greater than E last in case of max heap, and that condition gets checked here. Again, this condition should not be checked for the root, and therefore that check needs to be added as the default parameter. Otherwise, that is, none of these conditions are satisfied. That means the values are probably going to be equal. Anyway, this break is, I think, never going to get executed, so we don't have to worry about this part. So only one of these two parts is going to get executed, and the whole is going to move down, right? So that is essentially percolate down from the using the delete max. So any questions on any of these functions? Otherwise, we'll stop here and we'll discuss further in our next class. Yeah, if you felt that this code is a little complicated, yeah, I have tried to write it as much in a verbose manner as possible, so that reading wise also we understand it a little better. But feel free to look at it later offline also, and if you have any questions, feel free to discuss with me. So any quick questions? Okay, so we'll stop here. See you in the next class.